G'day, how's it going? My name's Steve, and with me today we've got the RYOBI 38cc two-stroke chainsaw. We purchased this for $229 from Bunnings. Today we will be opening up the contents of the box and checking out what it all comes with. Then after that we'll fuel her up and get her into the garden and cut down some tea tree and gum tree and just see how well it goes through that. And to throw in some good measure, we'll compare it to my parents' 10-year-old STIHL chainsaw and see how she goes. Alright, let's open the contents. One thing that I was a little bit disappointed about was the chainsaw didn't come with a plastic carry case. So we just need to think about how to store the chainsaw so it doesn't get too dusty in the garage. After opening the box, the first thing that I did was follow the getting started guide. One thing that you definitely need to do after checking the tension of the chain is to tighten up the bar mounting nuts. And now this is something that I forgot to do, as you'll see at the end of the video, and the chain actually got quite loose. The premix that I'm pouring in here is a 50:1 ratio of unleaded petrol and two-stroke oil.
Make sure it's on the ground when you start it.
Next to go in is the chain lube, and you'll see when I start the chainsaw a little bit later, a fair bit splatters across the cardboard. Next thing to do is engage the chain brake, then press the primer button 10 times so that the petrol will move around the engine, and also pull the choke fully out. Give the starter a yank 3 times, then put the choke to the half position. Then yank the starter again until it starts. I'm pretty sure I should have left the choke in the half position here, and I'm not 100% sure what happened when I released the chain brake. I'm not sure why the chain started. Yeah, weird. My sincere apologies for all the tea tree that we're chopping down here. There's just way too much on my parents' property. You will be pleased to know that the last test after this will be gum tree. I think it's pretty safe to say though, everything that the RYOBI's cut through so far, it's just gone through it like butter. Super stoked. The reason we decided to buy the chainsaw is because we bought a property maybe about 3 hours out of Melbourne. I think it's about 2,400 square metres, and it is chock-a-block full of tea trees. So this was basically its trial run, and I think it's done really well. And I will admit that it's not the best to be using a chainsaw wearing shorts, so the plan is to buy a pair of chaps, I think. Yeah, as I mentioned before, the reason we bought the chainsaw was so that we could clear the block that we purchased fairly cheaply. It was all quite confusing at the start, actually. So I was looking at STIHL chainsaws because my dad had a STIHL, and it was bloody fantastic to work with. And we checked out Husqvarna as well. But the problem is the chainsaws that the guys were showing us were probably around the $800 to $1,000 mark, and there was no way we could afford that, right? So in the end, I just, I researched RYOBI, had some good reviews online, and I figured, look, it's $229. If this thing falls to shit, then we'll just go ahead and buy another one. But so far, the tests have been great. After this final test, the following video clip is of the chain, which became quite loose during the cutting process. So just to remind you again, when you do originally test the chain, make sure you tighten up the nuts as well. And that's pretty much it. Alright, cheers guys.